Hello, guys. Hello, Cody. It's nice to meet you. I'm just going to let me know when it is that we can start because I'm going to let the man next to you talk to you more than I and we are talking to you. But I will have you know that going back to the days of Gordon Soley, uh,
Oh,
yeah, down here in regional wrestling, I mean, that's even before your time. I don't even know when you were a kid who the
Before
announcers.
everyone's time, I feel like. I mean,
Everyone except Gordon Soley's time.
Yeah.
I am a fan of you and the family name.
amazing. Gordon Soley's still the standard. Championship Wrestling from Florida. He's still the standard as far as announcers go. Well revered.
I want an understanding to what is happening right now. Mike Ryan is becoming a character. Hollywood beckons. He's in Los Angeles. I don't know why he's sitting next to Cody Rhodes. WrestleMania is this weekend.
it seems like he took a week off to sit next to Cody Rhodes.
And I don't blame him because he's beautiful and he plays the part and he's had wrestling handed down through the family. Mike, why are you with this enormous star hanging out with him? He looks like he smells really good.
He does. I can confirm. I'm here because every time you guys do an interview with a wrestler when I'm not in studio, it goes off the rails. I think the last time DDP threatened to kill you and hung up on the show and said the F word when we were on ESPN, and you're just bad at these, Dan. So I'm just here to make sure everything goes right.
That can't be real. DDP is like the nicest guy. Did he go off the rails on this show?
We will play the sound for you in a second. I can be awkward and clumsy, as Russell Crowe can attest. He's coming up next week, and Jessica and Stugatz have something for me on that because I failed. And when I was done with that interview, my wife said, "You're not used to interviewing big Hollywood stars. You choked." And she was totally, you blew it. And she was totally right.
I was thinking it. I mean, she said it, thankfully.
Yes, but Cody Rhodes, you don't have to do anything. He carries the entertainment. He's had it passed down in the family. Did you even have a choice, Cody, of doing anything other than wrestling?
I really didn't look at anything else. I mean, especially after seeing my dad in the light I got to see him and being backstage around everybody, there was nothing I really wanted to do other than this. My mother, though, would have really wanted me to do anything else. This WrestleMania coming up here at SoFi she's sitting right in the front row. And as much as it's about the love and this is my mother, she got me here, it's also me letting her know, haha, I told you so. It's going pretty good, right? Because even to this day, my mom thought I had no skills, no talents, no anything. She was trying to give me military pamphlet after military pamphlet. So this is a big moment of I told you so for my mom.
And why is Mike with you? Mike is a wrestling fan. His dad used to drive around Jimmy Snuka and your dad. He probably drove your dad around. Why is Mike next to you?
And his shirt is also matching my tie. And when he walked in here, his shirt wasn't. I think he went and changed shirts to match my tie.
Just a couple Cuban American nightmares, cutting it up, Dano.
There you go.
Just trying to advance the propaganda. Yeah. Not a lot of people know this because he's got bleached blonde hair, but Cody is Cuban. He's the American nightmare. But the next time you come down to Miami, you should really play up the Cuban American nightmare thing. And I'm thinking he's got a famous tattoo on his neck. On the other side of the neck, maybe a pastelito, maybe a croqueta, maybe a cafecito. It's good for branding.
He's my mom, my grandpa, he came over from Cuba, Tampa, Ybor City, my mother, the whole family. There's this connection there. Although years ago, he knows the story. Years ago, I was part of a Spanish Heritage Month poster, and nobody was hip to that. And I was front and center on the poster, which was a big mistake. And people were very mad. So when it's brought up, I'd say I'm very proud of it. I don't know a lot about that heritage only because we moved to Georgia when I was 5 years old. We still do Ropa Vieja. We still do Noche Buena, Picadillo, all all this wonderful stuff.
What?
Oh, wait a minute. You got to say it better than that. Hold on a second.
It's Dio. Picadillo.
Picadillo.
You don't want to count Picadillo?
It's Dio.
Picadillo, please.
The way I say it,
that
Cody.
card.
I mean,
Raisins or no raisins?
Picadillo. Does it have raisins or no raisins?
My mom does raisins.
Wow, that's pretty Cuban.
Are we all?
No. That's actually authentic. That's super authentic.
Good for her. Good for her.
But pretty shocking.
But you're saying that otherwise.
Miami Cuban series.
You're saying otherwise you're not very Cuban, though, because Tony's eyes went up. his eyebrows went up. He's like, this guy's not really Cuban. Look at him. I mean, he's the American nightmare. He's the American dream. He's not really Cuban.
I don't know. I don't know
He's Cuban enough. Why are we shaming this? This is
You
the
can't
new
be Cuban
reality
enough
of
and say
America.
picadillo. You can't. I'm sorry. You can't do it.
You can't find out someone's Cuban and then immediately decide 5 seconds later if they're Cuban.
I can
enough.
if he says picadillo.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Guys, I grew up in Georgia, the suburbs of Georgia, Marietta. Let's say my mother is Cuban. So if I get any of it, I get a little bit of it. But I'm on trial here for how Cuban I really am. I apologize to the Dio.
It's weird.
Well, now you see. Now
We're
you see.
trying to advance the cause. Not helping.
But now you see how it is that it happened with Diamond Page, Dallas Diamond Page, because let's play that sound here. He's saying he's the nicest man in the world, but he got enraged at me for some reason.
Scotty Steiner, I was just with him up in
Who tried to rip whose eyes out there? Somebody tried to rip somebody's eyes out there.
You can't rev me up, dude.
Did you try to tear out his eyes, or did he try?
Yo, monkey. Who the hell do you think you're talking to?
He tried to tear out your eyes.
Monkey. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? I'm positively Paige. Do you think I'm gonna flame your garbage so you can see? Right here. You.
Oh no. Jesus. You deserved it. You deserved it.
Horrifying. Truly horrifying.
Yeah.
Keep trying to rev people up,
Well, whose eyes was he?
He got into a fight
It was a Scott
backstage.
Steiner story that he was trying to get. Yeah.
It is very rare that you can get DDP to the level of an F-bomb. I mean, he is a beacon of positivity. It's positively Page is how he's known in the circles these days. So this happening is just, it's a feather in the cap of the show. You were able to take wrestling's nicest guy and get him to drop an F-bomb over a Scott Steiner story, which is amazing. I don't know how he got riled up about it, but he'll be here this weekend, and I get to bring it up. So amazing. Good job to all.
You strike me as maximum professional, and you've really evolved the brand in your family in a way that is super interesting, because these characters are hard to develop new ones. And I'm wondering, have you had a situation backstage with genuine conflict that involves, like, I really don't like this guy. This is not fake tension. This is real.
I almost would say I like less people than I dislike. And in terms of a backstage setting, it's the competition that exists in wrestling, you see that suspension of disbelief on screen, but backstage it is very, very real in terms of the competition. Who's going to be on top? For example, who's going to headline WrestleMania? So when this year it being Roman Reigns and myself, it doesn't garner a lot of friends. I think Seth Rollins is the closest I've ever had to backstage that turning into a fist fight in front of all our peers and upper management, but it didn't happen. Him and I absolutely can't stand one another. I'd probably try and rip his eyes out and have a situation like DDP and Scott Steiner here. I've had one backstage skirmish. I'm not going to name the guy, but the good thing is I won. Mm-hmm. When I came back, he was wearing this is early in my career, he was wearing one of my vests. I had these special leather vests I wore as part of my entrance. And he was wearing it and kind of mocking me at the talent viewing position. And as I went walking towards him, I thought I was going to headbutt him, but a headbutt seems pretty violent these days. Right? So then I thought, why don't you just grapple him? I've got a good folk style Greco background. So I got an over under, and I just swept him to the floor. And then I took my jacket and I looked like a complete jerk in front of everybody, because he was probably just having a good time, and it was probably funny. But only one fight backstage, and I won that fight.
Forgive me, because I remain confused. WrestleMania this weekend, SoFi Stadium. Cody Rhodes is a giant in the industry. His father was a giant in the industry. Mike, I don't understand why you're next to him. I don't understand why you have a kerchief in your pocket while next to him. Are you trying to convey maximum style? I'm next to somebody, a legendary family name, and I deserve to be.
Trying to get him to like me.
The pocket square work?
I just want. Yeah, does the pocket square work?
The pocket square is very nice. I'm of the belief, though, if you're gonna go suit coat, you got to go full suit. You got to go full suit. There should be not a lot of guys are wearing ties these days, and I feel like we need to bring it back. The pocket square is very nice. He's got a good style about him. He's got a great timepiece on the wrist. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of respect that's happening here. Plus, we have friends in common.
Oh,
so we're
he's moving.
Cowboy Carl
moving and shaking now. He's moving and shaking.
You
again.
understand it's odd. Like, you don't normally have some random guy sitting next to you when you're doing interviews, right? Like,
it is. I'll be honest. Just not knocking this wonderful show. This is an awkward setup.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he should be out of the screen and you should be in the screen because you're.
But Mike's keeping it on the rails, you know.
I didn't see Good Morning Football do this 20 minutes ago.
I think Mike. What does he smell like, Mike? What is the cologne? Because he smells like class.
Probably Creed. I'm gonna say Creed Aventus.
I have no clue what it's. I can tell you it's a Louis Vuitton cologne.
There it is.
What it is.
Do I smell nice?
I haven't really got a whiff.
That's a no. That's not a no comment.
He's smelling right now. Hold on.
You know what? He doesn't smell bad. I'd say basic.
Wow.
Ouch. Put it on the poll, please, Juju.
That's what you'd expect.
At Le Batard Show is the name of Mike Ryan's cologne basic at Le Batard Show. What did you learn, Cody, to do and not to do from your father?
Well, I made a big effort to wrestle completely different, to look completely different, whereas Dusty was this big, robust, heavy set, curly hair. I've made a lot of efforts in terms of trying to be a old school, muscled up wrestler with diet, training, all that. I think the thing I learned the most to do was my dad was really active genuinely as a good guy, babyface wrestler. He was really active in the community, especially there in Tampa and Ybor with the sheriff's club and the good, girls and boys facilities and everything. He was just very community active, and it was sincere. And a lot of times in entertainment, you see guys doing stuff, they put it on their Instagram, and it's almost performative. Whereas I was able to, I feel like I share that with him more than any wrestling talent. I don't think I got any of the talent. I think my brother got the talent. I think I got my mom's work ethic, but that generosity and that the wrestling has this large penetration worldwide. If you're able to take that and make someone's day with it and help our communities, and WWE being the absolute best at it, that's the number one thing I got from him in terms of community outreach and the work that he did outside of the ring. Number one thing I got not to do, he slapped a guy at Waffle House in front of me one time for calling wrestling fake. And I thought, that's a bit extreme.
It's always the Waffle House.
Yeah, that's a bit extreme. And so that hasn't happened. So, yeah, he's got a lot of, back in the day when we lived, the house I grew up in, there's a bunch of framed newspaper articles about different towns he got arrested in. Because the wrestlers really used to like that. That used to be like a notch in your belt. I beat this guy up at this bar, and then they sued me. See, here's the paper. We don't do that. I don't do that. Who knows? I think that's what I learned not to do.
When your mother says she doesn't want you to do that, and this, the scene in WrestleMania this week in SoFi Stadium is going to be totally crazy, and this is an I told you so moment. Did she not want you to do it because wrestling might physically hurt you, or was she worried about the lifestyle's ravages and the traveling being a bad career for her son?
I think she didn't want me to do it more because of the lifestyle. It is a life away from home, and the industry you can't take for granted. WrestleMania 39. This is the main events. 6 years ago, I was on the absolute bottom of the undercard, jerking the curtain, barely barely making the show. And you can't take it for granted. You have highs and lows in the industry, and those lows can really get to you. And I think she was afraid of that for me, but she's experienced it all with me from the first 10 years I was with WWE to betting on myself, going out and building the American Nightmare brand, and then WWE wanting it in such a way that they came back and got me. Yeah, I think it was the lifestyle that scared her. And now, again, I say it's like an "I told you so" moment, but it's also a nice moment that she raised me well, and I did right by what she taught me. So I'm very excited to see her at WrestleMania.
What represents your most emotional moment in wrestling, where you got the gratitude swelling in you like, I made it?
Two of them in particular. One was before I had come back. We did an independent wrestling show, and we were told that no company outside of WWE could ever sell 10,000 tickets without some sort of machine or infrastructure. Me and my buddies, Matt and Nick Jackson, we did a show called All In, sold out 11,236 tickets in a matter of minutes. And that was the first time that it had ever been done outside of a company for something independent, something driven by the boys. That was a great, great feeling of accomplishment. And then the biggest thing I've ever done in my career is winning the Royal Rumble. Winning the Royal Rumble, punching the ticket to WrestleMania, everything you see in those moments in an industry that it's what's real and what's not. Everything you see in those moments is very real. Winning the Royal Rumble changes your life. It means you're going to headline an event that's got $20 million of sponsorship wrapped around it. Your face is on Sunset Boulevard. It is the absolute pinnacle of what I've done, and very lucky, very blessed to be in this situation.
Mike, are you promoting anything on the way out? Are you promoting, you love being around WrestleMania? I think that you've conjured a Meadowlark Media work trip just so you can sit next to this man's Louis Vuitton cologne. What are you promoting on the way out here?
Please subscribe to @MichaelRyanRuiz on Twitter for less than a cup of coffee, just $2.99. You can get the occasional selfie with Brad Williams at the Comedy Store.
If you want to smell like basic, Mike Ryan has for you
really, he's like a clean cut baby face, and he just healed the shit out of me.
I didn't. It just was the first thing that came to mind. Was basic,
it's actually pronounced basic.
Basic.
Subscribing to things on Twitter right now is like investing in Enron.
See you later, Mike Ryan, and also someone that you can see at WrestleMania this weekend, SoFi Stadium. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time and your efforts.
Thank you guys very much for having me. Thank you.
Go Canes.
Go Cubans.
Yeah.